and welcome to Get the Table, another wrestling roundtable discussion podcast with myself, Adam Wilborn, and Andy Murray and Ben Roy Turner from WhatCulture Wrestling, here to discuss another burning wrestling issue. But before we get into it, if you're a fan of this sort of thing, make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling on either iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts from, for daily wrestling podcasts where we review Raw, SmackDown, the Wednesday Night War between AEW and NXT, pay-per-views, we have interviews, more roundtable discussions like this one, and a roundup of the week, complete with a bloody good quiz, of course, on WrestleCulture. As I said, though, joined by Andy and Ben Roy. Many of our staff not in the office today for obvious reasons. But with the breaking news last night and subsequent revelations today about WrestleMania 36 still going ahead, gents, we are gathered here today to talk what happens now with WrestleMania 36. And before we dive into it, Andy, your reaction when either you woke up to the news or you heard last night that WrestleMania 36 would go ahead as an empty arena show from the Performance Center.
That sums it up quite well. Oddly enough, I didn't realize that this was actually a thing, that this was actually happening until I'd been awake for about an hour and a half, because I got up and I watched Raw, which I can't remember if there were even any mention of it.
Bare passing, like a bare mention of it.
Yeah, that's the thing. And I completely, that just didn't register with me. So after Raw, I went to look at just what was going on in the wrestling world, and it said WrestleMania moving to Performance Center, and I thought someone was doing a kayfabe news on Twitter. But no, it turns out it's actually true. It was one of, not necessarily surprised, right? Because we expect something drastic from all of this. But yeah, my wig blew clean off my head. It is still stuck to my roof at home. And I've been bald ever since, man.
It's one of those things, Ben Roy, isn't it, where it's surprising and yet simultaneously completely predictable when you think about who Vince McMahon is.
It was weird because it was literally the very last thing to go, I think. Now we're getting say, shops and things closing. But events-wise, I think WrestleMania is the last, apart from the Olympics, the last thing to fall in this.
Well, certainly the most, the Euros got cancelled today.
Yeah.
But that was the summer, effectively. This is less than a month.
Unlike Andy Murray, I was awake at the time when this was getting cancelled, and I was watching Raw via GIFs on Twitter, and then just see this news, it's just a sinking feeling. This was all real and it's all taking it serious, but now this is it. I don't know. How does WrestleMania continue? How would you have a 7-hour show in front of literally no one? I think they have to probably either maybe do it in 2 parts or just do a shorter version at this point, because it's just. Can you watch a 7-hour, a big 7-hour pantomime, basically, with no audience?
Well, they had, let's not forget, Monday Night Raw last night had less than 7 minutes of actual live wrestling on the show. Yes, they showed the entirety of the Men's Royal Rumble match, but they had less than 7 minutes of wrestling, and it kind of felt like that was a bit of an afterthought, really.
Didn't SmackDown have a lot more on it? I swear SmackDown had a few more matches. I don't know why they didn't just opt to have some matches.
They had the Street Profits in the back, where they were holding them back for post-show so they could get stunned by Stone Cold. I have no idea. But when it comes to this, to play devil's advocate, really, I suppose the argument for not postponing WrestleMania 36 is you don't know when you're going to be able to reschedule it for anyway. It's not like you could turn around and say June or July. We'll definitely have WrestleMania 36 in town in Florida.
I think if they cancelled it, it wouldn't have happened this year. So I think, it's weird. I think, yes, go ahead with it if you can do it in the safe conditions. But I don't think they end up doing sort of capital punishment of 2 or Backlash or something like that. I think if you're going to do it, you do WrestleMania and you kind of keep the other sort of pay-per-view events down.
It's really interesting, though, the fact that I'm not surprised it's still being called WrestleMania because of the way the WWE pay-per-view calendar works. But WrestleMania, we all know, is the show of shows, Granddaddy and all, etc., etc.
We call things the WrestleMania of this. Say E3 is a thing where we call the WrestleMania video games. Just WrestleMania's become this event which we kind of like the Super Bowl, which people say
Super Bowl, please.
Super Bowl,
Super Bowl,
Super Bowl. American soccer, kind of like the thing where it's the collaboration of everything, and it's the grand stage. And we don't call it the granddaddy of them all anymore because Vince hates referring to being old. That's why we don't number them.
He's going to hate when he finds out about old people having to stay indoors.
It's just so weird.
But do you think, like you mentioned there about the length of the show, obviously we were very lucky enough to go to last year's WrestleMania.
The last WrestleMania,
the last WrestleMania ever as it stands. They can't do the same sort of show. Do you think they're going to reduce the length of matches or even reduce the number of matches on the show? Because we've been speculating, obviously, for months now about them adding potentially a fatal four-way match for the United States title, what's going on with the IC title, the tag titles. As it stands right now, I do believe there are, I think, 7 matches on the card. 4 championship matches, then you've got Taker, AJ Styles, you've got Seth Rollins versus Kevin Owens, and you've got Edge versus Randy Orton, if I'm not mistaken.
Bray versus Cena as well. Yeah, there's another one.
Don't forget the rumored Daniel Bryan versus Sheamus again.
Yeah.
I suppose technically you don't have Edge versus Orton because that's not been confirmed.
Yes.
So yes, Bray versus Cena is the other match that isn't a championship match. Are they going to add more and more matches? Are we going to get 12, 13, 14, 15 matches? Or are they going to try and keep it relatively tight and, you know, maybe hold back on some of the other matches for forthcoming pay-per-views, whatever they may be?
I reckon doing the usual 14, 15, 16 matches is death. I think that would be horrendous. An 7, 8 hour show with no audience, with no energy levels to keep you going, keep you coming through. I think that we will probably get, you know, like, I think the matches on the card, looking at them now, I honestly think there's a really good chance that Charlotte versus Rhea Ripley gets bunted off somewhere else. Maybe put that on an NXT Super Show.
Or TakeOver.
Well, yeah, there you go, because, you know, WrestleMania is not WrestleMania this year. It's not this eyeball-popping, have your moment on the big stage. It's literally a gym show. So it doesn't have the same rub for NXT and for Rhea Ripley. I could see that being bunted. I think maybe we'll see 1 or 2 more. Edge versus Orton, that'll get announced. Maybe another little tag title match, something like that. Another thing here and there will get thrown on, but for the most part, I think there's no need for your 4-way United States title or your 6-pack challenges. Put that rubbish on Raw or SmackDown, right? Cut this show down 3-4 hours, nice and lean, nice and short. Because if you look at the match times on SmackDown as well, I think one of the matches, the Baron Corbin Jeff Hardy thing was like 3 minutes or something. Daniel Bryan and Cesaro was like 5.5. The women's tag match wasn't much longer than that. That seems to be the pattern here, you know, just little short, concise matches. Yeah, I think we'll still get a couple of longer ones. It's WrestleMania. Look, Bray and John Cena are not going to go 20 seconds, you know. Well, they might actually go in Bray's last match, but yeah, I think it'll be a slimline card. I think it'll be a much shorter show. I think it needs to be, and I think anything else would be mental.
It's really interesting. Adam Nicholas, when we were talking about Raw today, pointed out something fascinating, which is, of course, the confirmation of the, not necessarily rule, but the suggestion that you do not have more than 10 people in an arena, enclosed space, however you want to word it. I mean, granted, there were 16 people on the stage when they made that announcement, but still. It's also fascinating when you think about that in terms of how this show is going to run, because you think, okay, there's a minimum of 2 wrestlers there. There's a referee, there's a commentary team, there's cameramen. In terms of people saying, well, why can't they just put a few people in the crowd, you know, developmental guys or whatever? That's not feasible, is it?
That, and also I don't think we're going to get the old big battle royals or anything like that this year.
It's
impossible.
That's going to be impossible. And just to see, it's so weird because
you're inviting yourself for criticism if you have a battle royal and then subsequently someone gets ill.
We used to have small WrestleManias. Remember, like it was only since 23 that they've gone big stadiums sort of forever. Like 22 was the last tiny, well, quote tiny one which could fit in a Raw arena. But yeah, it's just so what we're gonna have the referee, 2 or 3 camera guys, and then the commentary team just far up.
Like an announcer, ring announcer, I mean.
Yeah.
You're 10 people pretty much there.
And then your wrestlers, you finish your match, you get the hell out of the arena because these guys need to come in. It'll be like Jim Cornette and Earl Hebner after the screw job. They'll be right out of there.
It'll be like going clubbing. It's like
and,
1 in, 1 out. Sorry, boys.
Yeah. And the camera crew that are obviously the crew in the pit that are obviously cutting cameras and Kevin Dunn or wherever he is sort of thing. So they're going to probably breach their limit and then just not show them.
Yeah, man.
Just try to ignore the fact there's clearly someone producing, editing, etc.
I really want WrestleMania to start off with like Vince speaking to the camera or something,
singing the national anthem,
doing the flyover at the same time.
It's kind of like what they should have done with Stone Cold. I don't think they should have gimmicked Stone Cold in the way they did this show. I think he should have had a serious message and be like, yes, it's going to be hard times ahead, but, you know, like we've all got to try and carry on in some way because if we don't, then we're all going to sort of like go stir crazy sort of thing. Yeah. And I think they need to start WrestleMania with some sort of message like that. But I'm also here for more banter Triple H. Give me some of that.
Yes.
Give him his match.
I've got a wild idea to solve the crowd problem. Green screen the Mother Hubbards.
I was thinking of that.
Here we go, baby. Remember when Daniel Bryan the first time said, hell no, I'm not going to Saudi Arabia. And there was talk of doing his WWE title match with AJ in an empty arena with green screen crap all over the place. How mental would that be? How crazy would it be to see the most bizarre WrestleMania of all time going down with this video of fans going, woo! The wrestlers have to time their moves to the footage.
I was going to suggest they maybe put in the crowd from like 2K20, but God's sake, don't do that. We've seen suggestions of them piping in crowd noise. They've been accused of doing it in the past. But I mean, you could, I suppose the one thing that they could do, and this is the most WWE thing I can think of, is charge people to Skype in and just have a sea of iPads in there. That could work.
You can get iPads that are attached to a stick and wheels and have them drive around. So you can have people
like
drive around in the crowd, like holding their signs up, sort of thing. But would crowd being chimed in be much different from, like, say, the old sitcoms like Fools and Horses, where they would just have a laugh chant that goes in? It's like, ha 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 ha.
In that case, I would like them to feed the audio from every single iPad simultaneously through the thing, so you just get a bunch of like glitches and stuff.
I want there to just be one person in the crowd, and it's that guy who's always there with his mum. Just the Big Lebowski dude guy. I think that's what they need.
But not the Everton guy.
No.
There was always a guy that wore fluorescent pink, and his wife that threw fluorescent greenish yellow. They should be there. Just bring them two there and bring them back.
And Frank the Clown.
Yes. Oh, no.
No. Sorry, Frank.
We've got an interesting question raised to us on the news this morning about potentially pre-recording matches. Of course, we're getting Brock and Drew at the Performance Center next week for Monday Night Raw. And we talked about it, the discussion of the fact that, well, if they're both there, why risk them getting in, getting put into this situation again? Just record the match then. Is that something that you could see them doing?
Absolutely, man, as well, because there's not going to be anyone, there's going to be very few people backstage. So the chances of it getting leaked or spoiled or whatever are lower. I could absolutely see them doing that. And it would be a nice way to get around the 10 people in the building at once thing as well. Because do the Drew Brock match, you get those two guys and Paul Heyman the hell out of there. It's good stuff. And it means that Brock has to take one less flight because he doesn't like coming out to these events. But yeah, no, I can definitely see them doing it.
See them doing that?
I think they should totally just pre-record stuff and then sort of like cut it and make it like really snappy rather than just, I don't know, like you don't have a 7-hour sort of field event on a thing like this. So that's how they get around it. They use, say, mainly half the show now and half the show later, and doing the Brock Drew thing ahead of time is probably the best.
And maybe intersperse elements of Hall of Fame speeches, because that's not going ahead.
Yeah, little bits and pieces. I want Jushin Thunder Liger. Sorry, Justin the Thunder Tiger. I want these guys. A little 2-minute speech here and there.
The interesting thing that really has sparked debate now is whether or not the fact that they are doing WrestleMania 36 in this empty arena will change the results of matches. Because at the end of the day, if I feel terribly sorry for the likes of Rhea Ripley, for Drew McIntyre, for Edge returning from injury to these crickets.
Props to Edge, though, for driving for 17 hours for a 10-ish minute promo. So, props to him.
But do you think that the fact that this is going on behind closed doors almost, and the speculation about them running elements of this back, because like you said, there were some of their biggest matches, their biggest programs of the year. Do you think that the fact that this is going on behind closed doors will affect some of the matches' outcomes?
Yes, 100%. WWE is not primarily a wrestling promotion anymore. It's a content company. They're all about generating these little highlight clips that you can put in your YouTube videos and your highlight packages when you're hyping things up. Oh, look at this. This looks great. Let's put it in a 24 special. It's all about generating moments over everything else. Moments like Kofi last year, like Becky 2 belts, like Seth killing Brock by punching him in the willy a bunch. It's all about those things, and those things don't look good when they're in an empty gym with 5 rows of empty seats and Byron Saxton holding up a number 5 sign in the background.
I don't think any belts are going to switch hands. I'm going to go for it. Nothing switches hands this one because again, like, you don't want to go back to these pictures, or you don't want to go back to like the Wikipedia history or the highlights when they do their DVDs. Like Drew McIntyre finally coming all this way. The massive journey he's been on from being in 3MB to go into Impact to showing up in like other shows like WCPW and things like that. Coming all the way back to finally getting his big moment, and then so. Oh, no one's here.
No one's even going to do the 3, 2, 1 count. I just realised.
No.
Yeah, man. Yeah, well, Michael Cole might.
The Claymore countdown. That's
Triple H. Can we just have Triple H running around the building like a little cheerleader, like on SmackDown
Backstage
when he was awesome?
interviews, commentary.
I really do think they should, like they did before, back when Triple H and Punk were the only two people that didn't walk out.
Yeah.
They should. I think, of course, you won't acknowledge it as much, but you need to sort of like lean into it a bit more. Like the Triple H thing was a perfect way, and almost by sort of like blanking out on Raw was really weird.
Yeah. Yeah, it's such a shame that they didn't have him showing up on Raw, wasn't it? Like, I loved those 2 hours of him just going, "Hey, Michael Cole, you suck!" Like,
also like him and Mojo just shaking Michael Cole violently, and then Mojo Rawlins' microphone moving away from his mouth, and Cole just getting so annoyed. Like,
you child. Yeah, it's good stuff. It's
Do you
good
think,
stuff.
like, will they be able to get away with it? Though? Like in terms of, because a lot of people are saying, well. And when they said this, when the whole thing happened and people talked about potentially stopping doing Raw, SmackDown, NXT, AEW, is, well, what on earth do you do with the storylines? What? Yeah, because if you have the pay-per-view, you presumably want to continue it. The Raw after WrestleMania is out of the question, obviously.
Yeah.
Like, how do you keep storylines going, keep entertaining TV to sort of satisfy the TV rights and what have you, aside from just showing clips from old pay-per-views, obviously, and yet then circle back later on?
Yeah, it's very, very difficult, particularly given that they've said to all the wrestlers, hey, if you don't want to do TV for now, don't do TV for now. It makes it very hard to tell stories when there aren't people in the building. What, do they use, like 8 wrestlers on Raw and stuff? This is going to be such a huge challenge for them. I wonder if it would have been, here's me who knows everything about, you know, the ongoing situation. I wonder if it would have been smarter for them to maybe dub this the April 5th event, The Road to WrestleMania 36, have like 4 matches on it, something like that, right? Blow off some of the less important ones, and then maybe a few months down the line, you know, you can work on some of the other ones. It's just created such a logjam in their whole creative process, because you can't keep Brock versus Drew bubbling over for another 4 months. There's not enough material there. Like, it's heating up now. It needs to be blown off now. I am fascinated to see where they go from this. The Raw after Mania is an interesting one to bring up, because it's like, oh, look at this return. Look at this person you haven't seen in a while. You're going to do that in a building with nobody in it, baby? Like, I don't know. I think the Raw after Mania might just be a highlight show this year.
I remember when the SmackDown before WrestleMania used to be a highlight show, and like it's weird. Like, they were some of the worst. Like, you don't want to watch old wrestling, but then again, like watching new wrestling now with no one there. I think the Performance Center is a temporary fix, but they might. I think instead of doing a green screen, I think like maybe it might a big like LED background with something different there rather than just empty seats. Because after a while, empty seats are gonna get distracting.
Yeah.
So maybe even like have some fake sort of stuff or some sort of graphics just to mix it up. Because I don't know, like, could you imagine? Because events aren't going to change anytime soon. So what? Come July, August, September, like how many Raws and SmackDowns are we going to have? And you know, Vince isn't going to cancel it because longest episodic TV shows in history, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So what?
Well, it's interesting when you look past WrestleMania 36. First of all, do you think some wrestlers might actually benefit from what's going on right now?
Maybe the ones we're kind of tired of, maybe a little bit, whose acts are running a bit out of steam a little bit, maybe take 2 or 3 months, 3 months, 4 months, however long it's going to take off television. I can certainly see some of them benefiting. I can't really name any off the top of my head. I think most characters in WWE are doing really good things at the moment. Well, but maybe
after the trash heap, like Hamlet tweeted as well, like this is one of the stories that we had going in, the matches seem to be becoming really strong. I mean, there were some chinks in it, like people aren't really a big fan of Becky Lynch at the moment and what she's doing, but a lot of the card seemed to be solid more than often. Like some years, I still really enjoyed last year, but I think maybe this looked better than last year's because there were a few matches like Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre again and things like that sort of thing. So, and like Kurt Angle versus Baron Corbin. There didn't really seem many duds this time, but do you give someone their first title reign on an empty show like this? And I don't know. I was thinking about Blood and Guts as well, like the AEW show that's coming out soon. Like they've obviously got to cancel that as well.
That's not happening. No way.
You don't risk human bodies for just. I mean, it'll probably do good numbers on TV, but like, don't you need a crowd for the reactions and stuff?
What do you think going forward then after WrestleMania, not just for the performers, but in terms of pay-per-views generally for WWE? Because, you know, we know the schedule of pay-per-views going forward. You've got Money in the Bank, you've got SummerSlam, you've got all that coming up. Do you think they'll continue to advertise them even if they are unsure as to where it's going to be? Or do you think they'll just go, you know what? We'll just keep doing everything on TV, Mondays and Fridays and obviously Wednesdays, and go from there? Or do you think even they're going to say, you know what, if let's, for argument's sake, we find out that it's all sorted and fingers crossed we can all go back to normal at the end of the summer, for example, they say October WrestleMania sort of 2 for this year. WrestleMania 36.5.
The greatest WrestleMania live from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. I could absolutely see them doing that. Yeah, man, it's going to be, I think the pattern of WWE so far has been, let's just wait and see how this thing develops, because it's a story that changes by the hour.
Yeah.
Some days I've been sitting there covering news stories for the website, and it's been like, oh, we're doing this, it's going ahead, it's been changed, blah, blah, blah. It's crazy, it's chaos, it's all over the place. And also Vince McMahon is like, not even this global crisis can stop us, pal. I think he takes an element of macho pride in kind of saying, nope, show must go. It's like Dana White's doing with the UFC, except kind of, a bit not as silly. But it'll be very interesting to see what comes of this. But I think they're just going to do as they've been doing, man. Maybe pay-per-view will change. Maybe it'll be a day's notice. Who knows?
Look, films are stopping production. Most of the TV shows that we know, like big TV shows, are stopping production. Video games are getting like sort of delayed. Everything is getting delayed. Cinemas are closing. I get that we need, like, people need to be entertained. Like, you can't just all live off YouTube content. Like, we're going to keep providing it.
Well, you can.
We can, yeah. But like, I think wrestling will continue in the performance center. I think that's probably, they're not going to, I don't think they will stop unless I don't know.
That's the thing, isn't it? People need escapism.
Yeah, and it's going to be weird because, like, what are you going to do? Move all the wrestlers down to Florida? Because you can't just keep lugging them across the country if things keep going the way they are, sort of thing. And I think after Mania, it's just going to be such a weird year for WWE. I think this is going to be a weird year for the whole show. And I think, again, I said, you cancel some of the smaller events. Like, we don't need Backlash from the Performance Center. Like, even though that we don't do Backlash at one of the other events, Extreme Rules. You're not going to make anyone bleed at the moment. You just don't do any of that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Money in the Bank. Can you imagine a Money in the Bank?
Imagine Hell in a Cell in there. The roof would touch the roof.
Yeah,
it'd be amazing.
But I think going back to some of the matches, I think the Fiend Cena match, I think they should do some of the lights thing where just teleport them around the arena, keep coming on and off, and use the building to their advantage rather than just, because you're going to have to make it look a bit different because it's just going to be so dry. And sure, they would be fine, as I said again, for other shows where you're used to the one setting, but the crowd is so much part, the WWE universe is such a part of the product.
You're not wrong.
That we need something different.
I got an idea for something different. Royal Rumble, if this whole thing's still going on, they're moving out of Titan Towers, let's get one last big use out of that building, hold the Royal Rumble on the roof, got to throw your opponent to their death from the top of the damn thing, a la the Giant at Halloween Havoc. It'll be amazing. The Yeti will be there. Yeah, probably going to kill 99% of your roster, but hey, we'll have a laugh.
Hide and seek mania.
Parking lot. Let's see what
There you go, man.
Big game of hide and seek.
Get in.
It's genuinely, the thing is, everything we suggested, not that ridiculous.
No,
the state of affairs.
apart from the murder bit.
Well, apart from that, genuinely fascinating to see where this goes. Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And subscribe to What Culture Wrestling on either iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from for daily wrestling podcasts. Plus, you can let us know your thoughts on Twitter at WhatCultureWWE. Watch there, follow all three of us. You can follow Andy at
Andy H. Murray. The H stands for high spirits. Keep them up, man.
You can follow Ben Roy at
Ben Roy Turner.
You can follow me at Adam Wilborn. Follow us all at WhatCultureWWE. This has been Get the Table. My thanks to Andy and to Ben Roy. Thank you for watching, and we will see you soon.